She raised a knife on him once during an argument because she saw a strange text he ignored and said she would change, not knowing it's going to lead to something else. Stabbed on TikTok Live. Her name was Aisha, and she was 23. Bright, confident, naturally funny, a bit of an introvert in real life, but on TikTok, she was alive. Her phone had become her best friend. Every day after school or work, she would go live, talking, dancing, sharing stories, laughing with strangers. She wasn't famous yet, but her page was growing fast. She'd gone from 800 followers to 23,000 in just 3 months. Her secret? She was real, not flashy, not fake, just her bonnet, no filters, and bold opinions about everything from jollof rice to heartbreak. She started recognizing the same usernames in her lives. Regulars who cheered her on, dropped gifts, gave her encouraging comments. But one name stood out the most: King Leo 202, the top gifter. King Leo 202 always showed up. First with roses, then lions, then universes. Every time she went live, he was there, typing, "Queen, your glow is different today." He quickly became her top gifter. She shouted him out often. "Guys, King Leo is in the building. Show him some love." Her followers started teasing her about him. She'd laugh, blush a little, and move on. But one night he sent a direct message. "Hey, I hope you don't mind me messaging. I love your content. You're smart and funny, not just beautiful. Would love to get to know you if you're open." His profile? Verified. 35K followers. Handsome pictures. Well-dressed. Classy. She hesitated, but curiosity and flattery won. She replied, "Hey, thank you. I've noticed you in my lives. You're very generous. Sure, we can talk." DMs to date night. Their chats moved fast. He was charming, funny, a little mysterious, but attentive. Aisha found herself smiling at her phone more often than not. He told her he was an investor, lived between Lagos and Abuja, loved tech, was single, never married. No kids. They started video calling. He looked just like his pictures. Well-spoken, calm, never pressured her, just vibed. After a few weeks, he said it. "Would you like to go out on a proper date? Let me fly you in. Nothing crazy, just dinner, good food, conversation, and vibes. What do you say?" Aisha was stunned. She'd never done anything like that. Her life was still very regular. Sharing Wi-Fi with her roommate, using ring lights taped to broken tripods, eating noodles for dinner. But here was a man who knew her from the internet and saw her as someone worth pursuing. "Okay," she typed. One dinner. The first meeting. She arrived in Abuja on a Friday evening. He sent a car to the airport. A black SUV with AC and a driver holding a sign, "Miss Aisha." She was nervous, but excited. The moment Aisha walked into the restaurant and saw Leo in person, her heart skipped. She had seen him on video calls and pictures, but something about him in real life made her feel underdressed for the first time in her own body. His beard was clean, his voice smooth and confident, his cologne warm and expensive. He smelled like power, like someone who never had to try hard. And when he stood up and gave her a soft, intentional hug, she said it silently to herself. "This guy is so fine and caring. I want him all to myself." A date with tension. Dinner began like a dream. He asked about her goals, her content journey, how she handled trolls and attention. She loved that he listened. But deep down, something else was burning. Something she didn't fully understand. Jealousy. Every time the waitress smiled too long, or a girl at another table glanced his way, Aisha's chest tightened. "You get a lot of attention," she said casually. Leo looked up from his glass of wine. "Women, you know you're fine, right? Like, too fine to be single." He smiled, amused. "I promise you I'm single. Haven't dated in over a year. I've just been focusing on work." Aisha narrowed her eyes. "Can I check your phone?" He paused, surprised. "You serious?" She nodded, half joking, half not. Let me just check recent calls. That'll prove it. Leo handed it over without a word. She checked.
No sabd, vai.
No constant late-night calls. Mostly business names.
Uber.
Hotel. Manager. Still, her spirit didn't fully believe it. Guys like this don't stay single for long, she thought. The obsession begins. By the time dessert came, Aisha had stopped caring about self-control. She was laughing too hard, leaning in too close, asking too many deep questions. She wanted to own this moment, to seal it, trap it, not let it go. When Leo walked her back to her hotel, they stood at the elevator awkwardly. She looked at him, eyes serious. I want to be your girlfriend, she said softly. Leo blinked. Already? He teased, half smiling. I'm serious. I don't do this. But I know what I want. And it's you. He studied her face. She was beautiful, raw, honest, a little intense. Okay, he said after a pause. Let's give it a shot. She smiled almost triumphantly and kissed him on the cheek. I'm not sharing you with anyone, she said quietly as the elevator doors opened. Noted, he replied. In her head, he was already hers. That night, Aisha didn't sleep. She watched their pictures, replayed the dinner in her head, checked his social media again, looking for any signs of a hidden woman. Nothing. But she still didn't trust it. Because how could someone like him be single, honest, generous, and now hers? She had to protect it, guard it, watch it closely, because beautiful things always had a way of slipping away. The next morning after their dreamy dinner date, Aisha woke up with a big smile, her heart still dancing from the night before. Felt unreal. The same guy who had been anonymously sending roses and lion emojis during her late-night lives had finally taken her out. And he was even finer in person. His deep voice, perfect beard, charming smile, and the way he looked at her like she was the only girl in the world, it was too much. And now they were going on a shopping date. Aisha made sure to wear something that would turn heads. Tight jeans, a cropped hoodie, her braids freshly laid, lashes long, and lips glossed. She posted a short video before leaving. Shopping day with you-know-who's smiling face with heart's fire. Y'all better not stare too much sha face with steam from nose #softgirl season. When Leo pulled up outside her apartment in his black Mercedes, she practically ran down the stairs. He stepped out to open the door for her, dressed in black joggers and a simple white tee that hugged his arms and chest just right. Too fine. Too damn fine. They hit the mall together, holding hands, laughing, occasionally stopping for fans who recognized Aisha from TikTok. She was glowing. But then it started. As they walked past Zara, a group of girls turned and openly giggled, whispering to each other, "Damn, he's fine." One of them said loud enough for Aisha to hear. Another one even waved and said, "Hey, handsome." Aisha's mood instantly shifted. Her smile faded. She tightened her grip on Leo's hand and leaned into him like she was marking territory. "Did you hear that?" she said. Leo chuckled. "Hear what?" "Those girls. The way they were looking at you like you're some damn candy," she snapped. Leo stopped walking and faced her gently. "Babe, I didn't even notice them. You're the only one I see." But Aisha couldn't shake it. The jealousy was loud. Every time another girl looked at Leo too long, her blood boiled. He was just too perfect. And to her, there was no way he could be single unless he was hiding something. "You sure you're not playing me?" she asked later, brows raised up. Leo blinked in confusion. "Playing you? I'm here with you, aren't I?" She didn't answer. She just kept frowning. By the time they got home to her place, the tension had built up. Aisha walked in first, dropped the shopping bags, and sat on the couch with a dramatic side-up. Leo followed behind slowly and sat beside her. "I didn't flirt with anyone," he said softly. "But if me being attractive bothers you, I can wear a mask next time." Aisha rolled her eyes but then burst into laughter, unable to hold it. His calmness, the way he stayed kind even when she was throwing attitude, it melted her. "I just don't like other girls looking at you like that," she said. "It's like I finally found someone special. And now the whole world wants you." Leo took her hand. "Let them look." They'll never be you. That did it. Should we go live? Aisha said suddenly, wiping her face and fixing her hair. Leo smiled. Sure. Let's give them a show. Aisha set up her ring light and went live on TikTok. Within seconds, hundreds of viewers flooded in. At Aisha Glow, "Guess who's with me, y'all?" Leo leaned in and waved. The comments exploded. "Is that Leo? Y'all so cute together." Finally, loudly crying face, I shipped this so hard. He fine as hell, I don't blame you, sis, weary face fire. Protect this man at all cost, lion face. Aisha smiled proudly as the comments kept flying. Leo kissed her hand in front of the camera, and her followers lost their minds. "Y'all better not try him, oh." Aisha laughed. "This one is mine. Top gifter or not, I'm not sharing." Leo looked at her like she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. "I told you," he whispered off camera. "I'm here for you. I always was." That night, they cooked together, danced to Afrobeats in her living room, and later fell asleep watching funny TikTok compilations. Her live replay had already crossed over 30K views, with dozens of fan edits circulating. Hashtag Aisha and Leo was trending. But beneath the fame, the jealousy still lingered in her chest like a whisper. He was just too fine. And deep down, she feared she wasn't the only one who noticed. After the live ended and the camera stopped rolling, Aisha and Leo were still buzzing from the energy. The love in the comments, the teasing, the virtual roses, it all felt like a dream. "Your fans are mad funny," Leo said, walking into the kitchen. "Someone said I'm the final boss of fine men." Aisha burst into laughter, already a little tipsy from the wine they opened after dinner. "They're not lying, though." She stood up and followed him, her movements looser, bolder. "You are too fine for this world, Leo." He turned around with 2 more glasses of wine and handed her one. "You keep saying that like it's a bad thing." She took the glass, holding his gaze. "It is. Makes me insecure." He stepped closer. "Why? You already have me." Aisha didn't answer. She just drank, eyes on him the whole time. The tension between them had shifted from playful to heavy. Desire was humming in the air like electricity. By the time they finished the second bottle, they were both sprawled on the couch, laughing and slurring through stories from their childhoods. Aisha leaned against him, legs draped over his lap. She traced her fingers on his arm, slowly, deliberately. "Leo," she said, her voice low. "Yeah, I want you." Her eyes locked with his. There was no shyness, just fire. "Right now. No playing." He paused, a flicker of hesitation crossing his face. "Are you sure, Aisha?" She sat up, cupping his face. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I want you, every part of you." He didn't need more convincing. Their mouths collided, hot and urgent. Clothes disappeared. Her hoodie hit the floor, his shirt tossed aside, jeans unzipped in a frenzy of need. And when he undressed completely, Aisha gasped, her eyes widened. "Leo," she said breathlessly, staring. "You didn't tell me you were hiding a weapon." He laughed, but her hands were already exploring him, hungry and wild up. "I want all of it," she whispered, climbing onto him. "Don't hold back." What followed was a night of tangled sheets, breathless moans, and endless passion. Aisha had never felt anything like it. He didn't just take her. He owned her over and over again, slow and deep, then rough and fast. "Mine," she kept whispering. "You're mine too," he said each time she shuddered under him. By the time the sun peeked through the blinds, their bodies were still tangled, skin sticky with sweat, legs twisted together. Aisha had dozed off on his chest, completely spent but glowing. But when morning fully arrived, reality crept in. Aisha woke up and stared at him. Peaceful, beautiful, everything she had ever wanted. But in her chest, that familiar ache returned. Fear, insecurity. He was too perfect, too gentle, too sexy, too fine to be single. She got up quietly, grabbed his hoodie from the floor, and walked into the bathroom. She splashed her face with cold water and stared at herself in the mirror. You can't lose this one, she told herself. You have to protect it. When she came back into the room, Leo was just waking up. His sleepy smile made her heart flutter. Where did you go? He asked, stretching. Just needed a second, she said, climbing back into bed and cuddling into him. I'm not going anywhere. But deep down, she knew she had already returned. Not just to the bed, but to the obsession, to the jealousy, to the fear of losing something that felt too good to be true. And Aisha had made up her mind. She wasn't going to share Leo with anyone, no matter what it took. Lo booked her flight back that morning. They planned on spending one day together, but has already spent two. He dropped her off at the airport, giving her a goodbye kiss before leaving. Throughout the flight, Aisha wasn't herself. She thought about the previous night throughout the flight. She never wanted to leave because she was thinking another girl would replace her in no time. It wasn't just that they had finally been intimate. No, it was how he made her feel. The way he touched her. The way he whispered her name like it had meaning. The way he kissed her after every round like he couldn't believe she was real. It had left a deep mark. But that same intimacy only made her more possessive. Back home, everything felt different. Her place was quiet. The fan in her ceiling creaked softly. Her TikTok ring light sat unplugged in the corner. But her mind was loud. Obsessively loud. What if another girl was with him now? She called Leo. No answer. Her heart thudded. She waited 2 minutes. Called again. Still no answer. She opened his Instagram. No new story. She refreshed his TikTok. Nothing. Then she opened her WhatsApp. Typing. Then it stopped. No reply. Aisha felt the spiral begin. She FaceTimed him immediately. He didn't pick. She threw her phone on the bed and stood up pacing. He's with another girl. He has to be. She texted him. Leo, the first swear if you're with one of those girls from the mall. Just tell me now. I don't want stories. A few minutes later, her phone rang. It was him. She picked it instantly. Where have you been? She demanded. Relax. Leo's voice came through, calm but firm. I was driving, and I had a meeting with my cousin. Why do you always assume the worst? Because you're too handsome, she snapped. Every girl wants you. Do you know how mad it makes me to think you might be with someone else? Leo sighed deeply. Aisha, we've been seeing each other for what, a few weeks now? You've been amazing. But this is too much. I can't always be explaining myself every hour. She stayed quiet. I mean it, he continued. You need to trust me. I can't be calling you back 2 minutes late and you're already accusing me of cheating. It's exhausting. I'm sorry, she said in a small voice, but I can't help it. I see how women look at you, Leo, like you're a prize, and I've never had someone like you before. I don't want to lose you. You won't lose me, he replied softer now. But you will push me away if you keep going like this. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, phone pressed to her ear. She looked stunning but insecure, desperate, panicked. Just don't let any of them get close to you, she whispered. I don't want to see any of those girls around you. Leo exhaled again. I'm not theirs. I'm with you. But you have to let me breathe. That night, she didn't go live on TikTok. Instead, she scrolled endlessly through Leo's old posts, reading every comment from girls, clicking on usernames, checking if he followed them back. Her mind was racing, her chest tight with fear and jealousy. She knew she had a good thing. She also knew she was drowning in insecurity. But to her, it felt like survival. Like if she didn't hold Leo tight enough, someone else would snatch him away. And she wasn't going to let that happen. Not without a fight. The next evening, Aisha sat in front of her ring light, phone propped up, face beat and lashes on fleek. But the sparkle in her eyes, the one her fans had come to love, wasn't there. She tapped the Go Live button. Within seconds, viewers flooded in. Aisha has gone live. My fave girl is Hurry, where's Leo? Bring that fine man back. No Leo, no roses, Aisha and Leo forever. Aisha forced a smile, sipping her wine. Hey guys. Welcome back. Hope y'all had a great day. She danced half-heartedly to the Afrobeats playing faintly in the background. The engagement was still strong, but something felt off. There were no flashy lion gifts, no rapid-fire roses, no comment from Leo like "mine lion face." None of the usual energy. And people noticed. Leo didn't send any gifts today, pleading face, what's happening? Where's your man? Y'all broke up? Aisha paused, tensed, then said quickly, I already left there. I'm back home now. That was all she offered. The chat moved even faster after that, but her mind had already drifted somewhere else. The attention wasn't hitting like before. It didn't feel fun anymore. After an hour, she ended the live, sighing heavily as she unplugged the ring light. The silence in the room pressed against her chest. She didn't even change out of her outfit. Instead, she went straight to Instagram and opened Leo's profile. She tapped on his latest post. A mirror selfie from the gym, sweat glistening on his skin, captioned, "Locked in, over 1,000 likes already." But what caught her attention wasn't the likes. It was the comment. At @LilyB__. Still the finest smiling face with hard eyes. Don't act like you forgot. Aisha's heart stopped. The girl had tagged no one, but that comment was loud and too confident. She clicked the profile. Light-skinned, long curly wig, full lashes. A girl who clearly knew she was fine. No, not today. Aisha picked up her phone and called Leo immediately. He picked on the third ring. Hey babe, he said casually. Who is Lily B? Aisha asked, skipping all pleasantries. Her tone was sharp, biting. There was a pause. She's just a friend. Leo, Aisha said slowly. I wasn't born yesterday. That girl sounds like someone who knows what your lips taste like. He sighed. Aisha, I'm not hiding anything. She's my ex. But she's in the past. Then why is she all over your comments like she still owns you? She said, don't act like you forgot. What does that even mean? She's the type who doesn't know how to let go, Leo said. We broke up almost a year ago. I've told her I've moved on, but she keeps popping up. I can't control her comments. Aisha's chest tightened. She sat up straight. So you're still talking to her? No, he said quickly. I don't initiate anything. She just keeps trying. Look, Aisha, I'm with you. I've shown you that, haven't I? But you didn't send me a gift on live today, she blurted out, voice cracking slightly. You always do. Today you were just gone. I was in a meeting, Leo said gently. Real life happens. I can't be on TikTok 24/7. Aisha didn't answer. Her silence was louder than yelling. Leo sighed again, clearly trying to be patient. I care about you, Aisha, but this kind of pressure is dangerous. I don't want to be in something where I have to constantly defend myself for things I haven't done. Then get her off your page, she snapped. Block her. Delete the comment. Show me you've really moved on. He paused again, then said, okay, I'll handle it. But Aisha's mind was already spinning. That comment had pierced something inside her. The thought of Leo, her Leo, once being with that kind of girl, the kind that flaunted herself so boldly, it was eating her alive. And she knew now, more than ever, if she wanted to keep him, she'd have to fight. Because exes, fans, strangers, they all saw what she saw. Leo wasn't just too fine to be single. He was too fine to be left unguarded. Leo sat in his car outside his apartment that night, phone still in his hand after the call with Aisha ended. The screen was dark, but her voice lingered in his head. Then prove it, unfollow her. Block her. Stung a little, but not in a way that made him want to walk away. It was just Aisha, the same girl who danced barefoot in the kitchen while burning plantain. The same girl who sent him voice notes at midnight, telling him she missed him in between giggles. The same girl who cried when he surprised her with a necklace and said, no one has ever made me feel like this. She was intense. She was unpredictable. She was stubborn and insecure and jealous in ways that sometimes felt too much. But she stood out. Out of all the girls Leo had dated, models, influencers, soft-spoken professionals, girls who didn't ask too many questions and let things slide, Aisha was different. She wasn't smooth around the edges. She burned. And oddly enough, Leo liked the burn. She had fire in her eyes, even when she was wrong. She fought for what she loved, even when it made her look crazy. She was raw, unscripted, flawed, and real. That realness hit him differently. It was addictive. He remembered the first time they met in person, after months of TikTok gifs and flirty banter. She had looked at him across the table and said, "You're too fine to be single. Either you're lying, or you're dangerous." He had laughed. She wasn't smiling. And that was when he knew she wasn't like the others. She wasn't trying to impress him. She was trying to understand him, to own him, to guard whatever they were building like it was sacred. Even if it came out messy. Leo rubbed his temple, smiling slightly at the memory. He understood why she didn't trust him. His looks had been a curse as much as a blessing. Too many women had tried to claim him for the wrong reasons. Aisha wasn't perfect, but her obsession wasn't about clout or control. It was fear. Fear of losing what felt too good to be real. And somewhere inside, Leo loved her for it. He leaned back in his seat, staring out the window, whispering to himself, "Change is constant. She'll grow. She just needs to feel secure." He wasn't ready to give up on her. In fact, he was already thinking of something bigger. A week ago, he had spoken to a jeweler. Not for a ring yet, but he had asked questions. About stones, sizes, what style fit a bold, unpredictable woman who lived on TikTok and wore her heart like jewelry. He hadn't told Aisha. She didn't know that behind his silence, he was thinking of forever. He imagined a future where she no longer had to question if he loved her. Where she wouldn't check his likes or DMs because she'd feel safe in what they built. Where her fire was used for dancing, not doubting. "She'll change," he said again, this time with conviction. "And when she does, I'll already be waiting." He finally stepped out of the car and headed inside. Tomorrow he'd call her again. Apologize. Reassure her. Maybe even show her a bit more of the plan he was quietly crafting. But tonight, he just needed to breathe. Because loving someone like Aisha wasn't peaceful. It was war. Beautiful, maddening, unforgettable war. And Leo? He had already chosen his side. 3 days after their tense phone call about the ex-girlfriend's comment, Aisha had gone quiet. No late-night voice notes.
No FaceTime rings.
No frantic texts demanding to know who liked Leo's picture. Her TikTok lives were shorter, duller. The sparkle was dim. Leo felt the silence more than he expected. That evening, as he sat on his balcony in Abuja, the city lights flickering in the distance, he picked up his phone and called her. She picked up after 2 rings. "Hello." Her voice was soft, distant. "Hey," he said gently, leaning back in his chair. "I miss you." There was a pause. Then her voice changed. "Are you missing me? Or my body?" Leo chuckled, shaking his head. "I miss everything. Your laughter, your chaos, your energy, your stubborn mouth. And yes, your body too." Aisha laughed. A light, teasing laugh that warmed him. "You're shameless. So, should you come over?" he asked. "You really want me to?" she said, still testing the waters. "I already do." Without wasting a second, Leo opened his flight app, booked her a one-way ticket from Lagos to Abuja for the following morning, and sent her the receipt. Flight confirmation. 10:45 a.m. departure, Lagos to Abuja. Passenger, Aisha Glow. She replied with a simple heart emoji, followed by, "Pack your strength. I'm coming for everything I left with you." When she arrived the next morning, he was already at the airport waiting, dressed in a fitted black tee and joggers. She walked toward him wearing shades, a pink 2-piece outfit that clung to her curves, and a smirk that made his heart flutter. They embraced tightly, holding each other like the tension of the past few days had melted in that single moment. "Still fine as hell," she whispered in his ear. "You too," he replied, smiling as he pulled her suitcase toward his car. The first few days were bliss. Aisha surprised him. She didn't check his phone. She didn't ask who was texting him. She didn't stalk his social media. Instead, she cooked, something he had never seen her do before, and made a big deal about it. She danced around the kitchen in his oversized shirt, barefoot, singing Burna Boy songs off-key. "Are you trying to poison me?" Leo teased as she served him pasta. "Even if I did, you'd still eat it because it's me," she replied with a wink. They binge-watched shows, made silly TikTok videos together, and went to dinner at a rooftop lounge where Aisha proudly held his hand like she was holding a trophy. He caught himself watching her when she laughed. Not just because she was beautiful, but because something about her had softened. She wasn't interrogating him. She wasn't suspicious or jumpy. She seemed happy, and Leo noticed it. One night, as they lay in bed after a long day out, she rested her head on his chest, fingers lazily tracing circles on his skin. "I'm glad I came," she whispered. "Me too," he said, kissing her forehead. "Are you proud of me?" "Very." And he meant it. He didn't know if this calm would last forever. Aisha was still Aisha, bold, jealous, fiery. But these few days of peace felt like a glimpse into the version of her he hoped to grow with. Maybe she could change. Or maybe, just maybe, she was changing for him. And for now, that was enough. For days, things had felt like a dream in Leo's apartment. Aisha laughed more than she argued. She cooked breakfast in his shirt. They danced to Joe Boy and Oxlade in the living room. She no longer asked to check his phone or who commented on his posts. Her fans were obsessed with their Abuja content, the airport vlog, the couple TikToks, the rooftop dates. Felt real, stable, even peaceful. Leo had started to relax. And for the first time, Aisha felt like maybe she could be enough for someone like him. Maybe, just maybe, he really did belong to her. Until that evening. Leo had just finished dinner and walked into the bathroom to take a shower. Steam filled the space as the water ran. His phone vibrated on the bed beside Aisha, lighting up with a notification. She didn't mean to look. But she looked. "Lily kiss mark. I miss everything about you. Can we just talk?" One last time. Everything inside Aisha snapped. Her breath caught in her throat. Her heart didn't just race, it sprinted. Her hands started trembling as her mind unraveled into chaos. So it wasn't just her imagination. He said he blocked her. He said she meant nothing. Why was she still texting him? And why was her name still saved as Lily with a kiss emoji? Her chest tightened, her throat burning with fury. She sat frozen for 5 seconds, staring at the message like it was alive, mocking her. And in those seconds, something twisted inside her. Something sharp, primal, dark. Without a word, she stood up and walked silently to the kitchen. She opened the drawer. Her hand hovered over the utensils. Then she reached for the biggest knife. A long silver kitchen knife, the one they had used to chop yams the night before, felt cold in her hand, heavier than she remembered. She walked slowly back into the living room, still holding the knife. Her breathing was shallow, her thoughts racing. She wasn't crying. She wasn't shouting. She was waiting. Waiting for Leo to finish his shower. Waiting for him to come out with his usual towel around his waist, with that stupid calm voice and soft eyes. Waiting to hear the same excuses. She stood by the dining table, motionless, her other hand gripping the edge tightly. Her knuckles turned white. Her eyes locked on the bathroom door. Her mind repeated the same words over and over again. "He lied to you, he's still talking to her, you were never enough, they all want him, you were right all along." Inside the bathroom, Leo turned off the tap. The sound of water stopped. Aisha's grip tightened on the knife. The old Aisha, the one she tried so hard to bury, had returned. And this time, she wasn't just insecure. She was ready to act. The door creaked open. Steam billowed out from the bathroom as Leo stepped into the hallway, towel around his waist, running another over his head. His skin glistened, chest rising with each breath. He was humming softly, unaware of the storm waiting for him on the other side of the living room. Then he saw her. Aisha stood by the dining table, barefoot, still wearing his oversized shirt from earlier, but her entire body was tense, frozen. In her right hand was a knife, a long kitchen knife. Leo's smile faded. "Aisha." She didn't answer. Her eyes were wild, confused, locked on him but not really seeing him. Her breath was uneven. Her other hand trembled at her side. Then suddenly, she snapped. "You lied to me!" she shouted, the words bursting out like a scream trapped too long. "You said you blocked her. You said she was out of your life." Leo stopped in his tracks. His eyes shifted from her face to the knife in her hand, then slowly back again. "Aisha, what are you talking about?" "Lily," she cried. "She just texted you. I miss everything about you." "What the hell does that mean, Leo?" Leo raised his hands gently, trying not to make any sudden moves. "Okay, breathe. Aisha, put the knife down. Please, let's talk." "Don't tell me to breathe," she screamed, taking a shaky step forward. The knife followed. Her grip was tight, but her eyes were lost. Like even she didn't realize what she was holding. "Aisha," Leo said firmly, yet calmly, "look at yourself. Look at your hand." She looked down and gasped. The knife was shaking in her hand. Her fingers clenched so hard around the handle that her knuckles had turned pale. Her face twisted with horror. I didn't mean." Leo took a slow step forward. "Give it to me." She hesitated. The pain in her chest felt louder than her thoughts. Her head was spinning. She whispered. "I didn't know what to do. She's still texting you. You said she was gone. You made me feel crazy, Leo, like I was imagining things." "I didn't reply," he said gently, stepping close enough to place his hand on the blade. Carefully, slowly, without force. "I swear, Aisha, I didn't even know she messaged. I've been with you." After a long pause, she finally let go. Leo placed the knife on the table behind him, never taking his eyes off her. Then he gently guided her to the couch and sat her down. Her shoulders slumped, body trembling. Mascara smudged at the corners of her eyes. He crouched in front of her. "Aisha, talk to me. What's really going on?" She looked away, ashamed. Then her voice cracked, raw and quiet. "I don't know how to be calm with someone like you," she confessed. "You're too perfect, Leo. Every girl wants you. You walk into a room and people stare. You go online and you don't even need to try. They flood your comments. I'm scared every damn day." He said nothing. He just listened. "I feel like I'm fighting off the world to keep you. And I thought I could change. I tried to change. But when I saw that text," her voice broke again, "I lost control. I saw it and I felt like I was about to lose everything." Leo reached for her hands and held them gently in his. "You're not losing me," he said. "But you have to stop thinking I belong to someone else. I've chosen you." Tears streamed down Aisha's cheeks. "But what if I'm not enough?" "You are," he said, his thumb brushing her fingers. "But you need to believe that, or nothing I do will ever be enough for you." She leaned into him, resting her forehead against his. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. "Then don't lose yourself trying to keep me," he replied. They sat like that for a long time. The knife was forgotten. The steam had faded. And the silence between them was no longer dangerous. It was healing. But Leo knew the truth deep down. Something inside Aisha was still fragile, still breaking. And love, no matter how deep, might not be enough to fix what she was fighting inside. Leo had every reason to run. A lesser man would have walked away the moment Aisha reached for that knife. Not in rage, not in defense, but in a spiral of insecurity and pain so deep she didn't even realize what she was doing. That moment replayed in his mind a few times after it happened. The shaking in her hand, the raw confusion in her eyes, the instant regret. It wasn't normal. But Leo didn't run. He stayed. He told himself it was love. Told himself she was only that way because she cared too much. That the jealousy, the rage, the tears, they were all side effects of loving him too hard, too fast. And maybe, just maybe, he was the trigger. Maybe if he were less handsome, less charming, less desirable to the outside world, she wouldn't be so afraid of losing him. He told himself, "This is my fault." He didn't tell his friends what had happened with the knife. He didn't mention it when his cousin asked if Aisha was the type to settle down. He just said, "Yeah, she's fiery, but she loves hard. She'll calm down." Because deep down, Leo believed in redemption. He believed people could change, especially when love was real. And no matter how messy things got, he felt Aisha's love. In her chaos, in her neediness, in the way she fought every imaginary woman in his DMs like her life depended on it. He told himself she just needed stability, reassurance, a grand gesture, something bigger than her fears. So he started planning it. The proposal. He reached out to one of Abuja's high-end event stylists. Quietly, discreetly, told them he wanted a rooftop engagement. Private, intimate, but breathtaking. Candles, soft lights, a string quartet, maybe even a few of Aisha's closest TikTok friends to fly in, if she'd forgive them for keeping the secret. He even picked the ring himself. White gold, halo design, a centerpiece diamond surrounded by smaller stones. Bold and loud, just like her. Flashy enough for her TikTok lives. Daring enough to match her fire. He paid for it in full. "She'll change," he told the jeweler. "She's just scared." Meanwhile, Aisha was back to smiling again. She had no idea what Leo was planning. He'd started becoming even gentler, more affectionate, waking her up with forehead kisses, cooking breakfast when she overslept, letting her rant without interrupting. He wasn't reacting anymore when she questioned him. When she gave side eyes over a phone notification, he calmly placed his phone face up on the table. When she asked who called, he answered without flinching. And when she apologized afterward for acting mad, he simply pulled her into his arms. "It's okay," he said. "I understand you now." And maybe he did. But what he didn't understand, or maybe refused to admit, was that love alone couldn't erase Aisha's darkness. The jealousy ran deeper than insecurity. It was rooted in fear, trauma, abandonment, things she hadn't yet confronted. Things a ring wouldn't fix. Still, Leo believed he could love the madness out of her. Even after the knife, even after the breakdowns, even after the wild accusations, the silent treatments, and the panic-driven calls at 2 a.m. He still wanted forever. So he kept the plans quiet. In 5 days, on a private rooftop in central Abuja, he would ask the same woman who nearly cut him in a storm of jealousy to be his wife. Because Leo wasn't afraid of her fire. He was just praying it didn't burn them both to the ground. 5 days later, everything was set. The rooftop sparkled under the Abuja night sky, lit with soft amber lights, hundreds of candles flickering like stars at their feet. A long white carpet led to a flower arch in the middle of the rooftop, with a live violinist playing soft Afrobeats renditions in the background. The skyline glimmered behind them. It was intimate just the way Leo wanted. Aisha thought they were attending a private influencer dinner with one of Leo's friends. She came dressed in a satin olive dress, with her braids pulled back into a sleek bun, hoop earrings catching the candlelight. As they stepped out of the elevator and onto the rooftop, she paused mid-step. Her breath caught. "What's all this?" But before she could finish, Leo turned to her, pulled her gently toward the arch and dropped to one knee. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Aisha," he began, voice calm, steady, but full of emotion. "I know it hasn't been perfect between us. We've fought. We've tested each other. But even in your chaos, in your fire, I see a woman I want to walk through life with. You've made me laugh, you've made me crazy, but most of all, you've made me feel. And I want to keep feeling you. Every day." She was already crying. "Will you marry me?" Her answer came without hesitation, through tears and laughter. Yes, Leo. I will." He slipped the ring onto her finger. It sparkled like a crown. She kissed him wildly, clutching his face, as the violinist played an acoustic version of Joe Boy's Body and Soul in the background. The court wedding happened just a week later. Leo moved fast, not because he doubted her love, but because he wanted certainty. No more questions, no more wondering. He wanted to bind her to him legally, emotionally, publicly. Aisha signed the marriage certificate with a bright smile, her lashes fluttering like butterflies. Her Mrs. Leo signature bold and dramatic. She wore a white jumpsuit with heels, and Leo wore a dark green suit with gold cufflinks. Her favorite color combo. There was no crowd, just two witnesses and their joy. Within hours, Mrs. Aisha Leo became the new name on her TikTok bio. Their first joint live after the court wedding hit over 200K views. At Aisha Glow, say hello to your TikTok couple, Mr. and Mrs. Leo, officially. Fans went wild in the comments. OMG, they actually did it, loudly crying face red heart. Best couple online. The ring is ringing. No weapon formed against this union will prosper, loudly crying face clapping hands. Aisha won, y'all. Leo belongs to her forever. Leo sat beside her, in a white tee and gold chain, sipping juice as she did most of the talking. His hand was on her thigh. He smiled, watched her shine. But of course, it wouldn't be Aisha if peace lasted too long. During the same live, someone commented, Leo, blink twice if she kidnapped you, loudly crying face, loudly crying face. Aisha laughed hard at first, then turned to Leo. Why are they saying that? You're not forced to be here, right? Leo chuckled. Of course not. She leaned into him, grinning, but her eyes searched his face a little too long. Better say it with your chest, she teased. Let them know you're obsessed with me. Leo smiled, kissing her cheek. I'm addicted to you, Mrs. Leo. That's not even a debate. The comments flew faster, but then another one caught her eye. Leo was looking extra fine in that Abuja gym pic last week, smiling face with hard eyes. Her smile twitched. Wait, who's still talking about gym pics now? Should I block her or you? Leo laughed awkwardly. Babe, chill. It's just a comment. Aisha tilted her head, still smiling, but her hand moved to his chin. Cien, you're mine now. Not TikToks. Not the gym girls. Not Lily's. Babe, we're on live, Leo said under his breath, still smiling but visibly nervous. Aisha nodded sweetly to the camera. Let them know I don't play about my man. The fans loved it. Protect Leo at all costs, loudly crying face skull. Not Aisha about to pull a knife again on live skull. Y'all are wild but perfect together, weary face red heart. Leo laughed along, but he knew her tone. It was playful but not entirely. She wasn't joking. And yet, despite the small flare-ups, despite the tiny cracks beneath their online perfection, Leo stayed. He posted her, praised her, went live with her, because now it wasn't just love. It was law. Aisha was no longer his girlfriend. She was his wife. And if that meant learning to live with thunder so he could keep her sunlight, so be it. It started with another harmless message, or so Leo thought. They were lounging on the couch in their living room, still recovering from the buzz of their latest TikTok live, when Aisha picked up Leo's phone to change the music. A message popped up right at the top of the screen. From Amaka. Work. Thanks for yesterday, babe, face blowing a kiss. The kiss emoji landed like a bullet. Aisha froze. Her heart clenched. Her vision blurred for a moment. She stared at the message like it had slapped her across the face. Leo was already reaching for his phone when he noticed her expression. Babe, let me explain. Who's Amaka? She asked quietly, not looking at him. She's my colleague from the office. It's nothing. Why is she sending kiss emojis and calling you babe? Her voice rose an octave, sharp and strained. You've started again, Leo. After everything? After the wedding? Aisha, calm down. You know how some people just play like that. Do I play with my male colleagues like that? She snapped. Am I out here calling men babe and sending emojis? Leo stood up, frustrated. You're blowing this out of proportion. I've told her before to chill. I'll block her if it makes you feel better. But Aisha was no longer listening. Her chest was rising and falling rapidly, the spiral pulling her in again. Suspicion, betrayal, fear. She felt it choking her, flooding her ears, her eyes, her throat. She couldn't breathe. Without saying another word, she stormed into the bedroom, threw on her scarf, and turned on TikTok. Live at Aisha Glow. Hi everyone, she said, trying to keep her tone even, brushing her fingers through her hair. We're just chilling. Ignore my face. I'm just trying to clear my head. Her voice was light. Too light. The chat exploded instantly. Where's Leo's smiling face with hard eyes, smiling face with hard eyes? Y'all okay? You look tense, Queen. Vibe check. Play a song. In the background, Leo walked into the room shirtless. Confusion and worry etched across his face. Aisha, seriously, let's just talk. Come on, baby. Put the phone down. She ignored him, smiling into the camera. He's trying to stress me right now, but I'm not going to let him. Men will embarrass you if you let them. Right, guys? The comments started flying. What's happening? He cheated? Not this again. Aisha, weary face. Leo gently reached for the phone. Let's not do this online. Please. I'm fine, she said through gritted teeth. I just needed space. I'm calming myself. But she wasn't calming down. Not even close. Leo backed away again, trying not to make it worse, whispering something under his breath. She couldn't even hear it. Her thoughts were screaming. Then it happened. Leo's phone buzzed again in her lap. She looked down. From Lily Kissmark. Thanks for the other day. I haven't stopped thinking about it. Everything stopped. The room, her breath, the TikTok chat. The air itself seemed to disappear. Aisha stared at the message. Her body froze, but her mind erupted. Her hands started shaking again, just like that night in Abuja. She didn't yell. She didn't speak. She simply stood up from the bed, walked out of frame, and headed straight to the kitchen. Her feet were heavy, her mind blank. Leo called out, Aisha, Aisha, where are you going? But she didn't answer. She opened the drawer, her fingers wrapped around a long knife. She went straight to the sitting room, not minding she was in live, and stabbed Leo in his chest. He was shocked. She didn't do it once, but she took out the knife and stabbed him again out of anger, in front of thousands of viewers. She didn't realize that, until she saw blood coming out of Leo's mouth and chest. She wasn't calm. Then Leo fell down and asking her why, telling her he didn't do anything, he didn't cheat, he didn't finish explaining before. He stopped moving because one of the wounds went straight to his heart. When he stopped moving, she came back to her senses, trying to wake him up, telling him she is sorry and don't mean it, and that was it. Thousands of her followers just experienced Aisha killing her husband. To be continued.